Dean Martin was never simply a smooth voice on a record or a relaxed smile beneath the glow of Hollywood lights. To the world, he looked like the definition of ease, a man who could walk into any room and make it feel lighter just by being there. His songs floated like velvet, his humor landed softly, and his presence carried the kind of comfort that made people believe life could be simple. In an era filled with bright stars and larger-than-life personalities, Dean seemed different because he never appeared to try too hard. Yet what audiences saw as effortless cool was, in truth, a carefully built survival skill. Behind the laughter and charm lived a man who understood pain early, who learned to hide uncertainty behind wit, and who carried vulnerability quietly, turning it into something the world could adore without ever fully understanding. A boy shaped by being an outsider. Before he became Dean Martin, he was Dino Paul Crocetti, born in 1917 in Steubenville, Ohio, the son of Italian immigrants. His home was filled with warmth, tradition, and the Italian language, but outside those walls, his identity made him stand out in ways that were not always kind. At school, his accent marked him as different, and ridicule followed him through childhood. He learned quickly how sharp words could be, how loneliness could settle in even in a crowded room, and how badly a young boy could want acceptance. Those early years planted something deep inside him, a sensitivity he rarely showed, and a longing to belong without having to explain himself. Music became one of the first places where he could feel free, where emotion mattered more than language, and where he could be heard without being judged. Leaving behind the classroom for real life. By 16, Dino left school behind and entered adulthood the hard way. He worked in steel mills where labor was relentless, and he boxed for money in environments where toughness was not optional. These were not glamorous beginnings, but they shaped him more than any spotlight ever could. The physical strain, the bruises, and the exhaustion taught him endurance. He learned how to push through discomfort, how to survive without complaint, and how to keep moving forward even when life offered no applause. Those years hardened him, not into someone cold, but into someone resilient. Long before he was famous, he had already learned discipline, patience, and the quiet strength of simply showing up again and again, discovering the quiet power of connection. While working as a blackjack dealer in smoky nightclubs, Dino began to study people. He watched how laughter softened tension, how charm could ease disappointment, and how warmth could make strangers feel welcome. He realized that being liked was not about being loud, but about making others feel comfortable. Slowly, music returned to him, and he began singing in clubs under the name Dino Martini. The crowds were not always kind. Many nights, people barely looked up from their drinks. The silence after a performance could sting more than any punch from the boxing ring. Yet instead of quitting, he adjusted. He learned that rejection did not mean the end. It meant waiting, improving, enduring. Those difficult nights built the foundation for the calm performer the world would later admire. Reinventing himself into Dean Martin. Changing his name to Dean Martin was more than a career decision. It was reinvention. He softened his image, refined his sound, and stepped forward with quiet determination. Success did not arrive quickly. There were still countless nights of singing beautifully to rooms that hardly noticed. But he carried something stubborn inside him, a belief that his voice mattered even when no one was listening. Dean Martin was being formed slowly, not through instant fame, but through persistence. The man who would later seem so effortless was built through years of effort that no one saw. A partnership that changed his life. In 1945, in a small New York club, everything shifted. A young comedian named Jerry Lewis interrupted Dean's act, turning order into chaos. Instead of anger, something clicked. Their chemistry was immediate, surprising, and electric. What began as disruption became partnership, and Martin and Lewis quickly became one of the most famous duos in entertainment. They blended comedy and music in a way audiences had never experienced before, feeding off each other's energy. Fame arrived fast, almost violently in its speed. For the first time, Dean felt truly seen, no longer overlooked, no longer waiting in silence. The hidden weight of shared fame. While the public adored them, the partnership carried imbalance. Critics often focused on Jerry Lewis's manic brilliance, reducing Dean to the handsome straight man rather than recognizing his depth. The success was real, but so was the frustration. Dean worked relentlessly, yet felt unseen for the full range of his talent. Over time, resentment grew, not out of arrogance, but out of a desire to stand fully on his own. In 1956, he made the painful decision to leave the partnership. Many believed it would end his career. Dean believed it was the only way to save himself. Proving himself beyond doubt. Walking away forced Dean Martin to face the world alone. The risk was enormous, but the reward was even greater. His dramatic performance in The Young Lions showed that he could act with depth and seriousness. Soon, his music soared. When Everybody Loves Somebody reached #1, even surpassing the Beatles, it was not just a chart victory, but personal validation. Dean Martin was no longer half of something famous. He was famous on his own, finally recognized as the full artist he always knew he could be. The King of Las Vegas and the Art of Performance. As part of the Rat Pack alongside Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr., Dean became one of the defining faces of Las Vegas entertainment. On stage, he appeared carefree, often joking with a drink in hand, delivering humor as if it required no effort. But the image was carefully controlled. The drink was often apple juice. The looseness was practiced. Dean understood performance deeply. He knew how to give audiences what they wanted while keeping parts of himself protected. Through television shows, celebrity roasts, and endless performances, he became a permanent symbol of charm, familiarity, and warmth in American culture. A man who wanted family more than applause. Despite fame, Dean longed for simplicity. He valued home and family deeply, even when his life made it difficult. His marriages reflected both his desire for connection and the strain of living under constant public demand. His second marriage lasted nearly 25 years and brought him a sense of stability he cherished. He loved his children fiercely, though he carried quiet guilt over time missed. These were burdens he rarely spoke about, choosing instead to carry them privately while the world saw only the smile. The loss that broke the spell. Nothing prepared Dean Martin for the loss of his son, Dean Paul Martin, in 1987. Dean Paul was his pride, talented and full of promise. His sudden death shattered something inside Dean that never fully healed. Friends saw the change immediately. The humor softened. The spark dimmed. The man who once seemed untouchable was deeply wounded. He did not try to perform through grief. He withdrew, choosing quiet over applause because the pain was too heavy to mask. Choosing silence over the spotlight. After tragedy, Dean stepped away from public life. He spent his days simply playing golf, watching old westerns, and holding close to familiar routines. This was not bitterness or defeat. It was survival. He had given so much of himself to the world, and now he needed stillness. His cool exterior had never been detachment. It had always been restraint, a way of protecting his heart. A farewell marked by grace. In his later years, Dean's health declined, and he was diagnosed with lung cancer. He chose dignity and comfort over aggressive treatment, spending his final months surrounded by family. His daughter would softly sing "Everybody Loves Somebody," returning the gift he had once given the world. These moments were not performances. They were love, memory, and presence. The legacy of a man behind the myth. Dean Martin passed away on Christmas Day in 1995, leaving behind a world that had adored his voice and charm. His story was filled with contradictions: an icon who craved normalcy, a performer whose ease was forged in hardship, a legend who carried profound loss. He taught the world how to make joy look effortless, even when it was not. Today, his music still comforts, his humor still disarms, and his presence still feels close. Behind every smooth song was a human being doing his best to carry what life gave him, reminding us that even legends are, at their core, simply people trying to endure with grace.